Nicomachus, son of Aristotle. To him, according to an ancient account, Aristotle dedicated the Nicomachean Ethics. But possibly the name is due to his having edited the work, as Eudemus may have edited the Eudemian Ethics.
What are you reading from?
This is page 733 of the Oxford Classical Dictionary.
Well, let's find out more about this thing.
All right.
Welcome to the Ad Nauseam podcast, where classical gourmands everywhere can finally get their fill. Join us for a delectable discussion of Greco-Roman civilization stretching from the Minoans and Mycenaeans through the Renaissance and right down to the present. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts, Dr. David Noe and Dr. Jeff Winkle.
Welcome, listeners, to episode 218 of the Ad Nauseam podcast. My name is Dr. Jeff Winkle. I'm down here in the bunker, Parnassus, Vomitorium Central,
etc.,
etc., etc. I got to get it all out there.
The spiders are gone.
Yeah, I noticed. It feels cleaner and
but the
yeah,
cool weather has returned.
Yeah, I know. Man, it does not feel like May around here.
April is, how do they say, or maybe it's March, out in like a lamb, out like a lion.
Yes.
I don't know what it's going to be for May.
I don't know.
In like a refrigerator and out like a, who knows?
Right. Someone else has said that April is the cruelest month.
Why is that?
I think it's because of the bad weather. That's the T.S. Eliot, I believe, said that. But April felt very cruel.
I see.
Lots of wet weather and
cold and...
But yeah, so, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about
No.
No.
We're past March. So, he wrote, Mr. Eliot wrote what? Sonnets, quartets?
He was a poet.
Concerti, something like that.
The Wastelands, I believe, is probably his most notable collection, right? But Dave, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Yes, we got a corrigendum, so we got to get into that. Not pleased with this one, as you might imagine.
Right, do you want to jump right? You want to get it out of the way?
No,
okay.
I got to... I got to have a kind of a gentle up-ramp,
okay,
you might say,
all right, to
the corrigendum. It's about time to mow the lawn,
yep.
But you can't do it because it's raining so hard.
I know.
And it's kind of chilly.
Yep.
Scholarly work is going well. Thanks for asking. Just got a student signed up for the Latin class, and I asked this student, fine gentleman, how did you learn about this Latin class?
Yeah.
He said, I downloaded the Calvin's Latin Bible app, which I found on the App Store, good place to find it.
Yes.
And then I saw that you had this course, that the system is working.
It's working, right? Yes. So you're doing some cross-promotion there?
That's the entire plan, right?
Excellent.
One of the people that helps me promote once said, you're building a community, right? I have a kind of a cringe reaction to that word, as you might imagine.
I bet you do.
Yeah, I really do. I don't think there's a communitarian bone in my body. So I like to say I'm trying to build a media empire.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because that's more robust.
Yes.
Do men sit around thinking about the Roman community?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So in the media empire, you are the solitary mogul at the top of the pyramid, right?
I suppose so. It's a painful place to sit, let me tell you. So we got a lot of ground to cover today.
Yes, we do.
And we got to start out with our corrigendum.
Yes.
This comes from someone we know all too well.
Oh, no. Don't say it. It's local Will?
It's a local Will Fitzgerald.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to read a part of this, and then I'm going to react violently.
Okay, please do.
He says, there were two egregious errors.
Oh, no.
In episode 217.
This is corrigenda?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Egregious. Throwing around Latinate adjectives like that, I think Will has no business doing so.
Well, what did we do?
Well, okay. The first one is totally legitimate, but I'm going to try to find a way to save face.
Okay.
The second one, I'm not sure I'm going to even read, but okay. The first was the claim that Puerto Ricans are not U.S. citizens.
Did we say that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. You went along with it.
I know.
In your usual affable manner.
But I thought, well, they're a territory, right?
Something, I don't know.
Yeah.
You ever been to Puerto Rico?
I have not.
I once went through the airport because we were rerouted from some other place that we were supposed to go.
Yeah.
But what has Puerto Rico given us? Baseball? Jennifer Lopez?
Is she from Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. But apparently Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens.
Yes.
Okay.
So to continue Will's diatribe, although they cannot vote in presidential elections and have other limits on representation, people born in Puerto Rico are full U.S. citizens. Then he sends us a link. See http, etc., uscode.house.gov, etc. So I looked it up. And it says, persons born in Puerto Rico on or after April 11, 1899, and prior to January 13, 1941, are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, etc. All persons born in Puerto Rico on or after January 13, 1941 are citizens of the United States at birth.
Okay.
But I have to tell you, Will, when I said on 217 that this people of Puerto Rico were not U.S. citizens, I was thinking of those that were born on January 12, 1941.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So there's the technicality.
Right. I thought it was obvious.
It was clear that Will obviously overlooked.
Yeah. I mean, I would also quibble a little bit that they are full U.S. citizens, but they don't have voting rights. Can you be a full U.S. citizen
I don't
without
think so.
voting rights? I don't.
The whole purpose of this little bit is to try to scare Will away from sending us another corrigendum.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so. Here's the other one.
All right.
The second was not providing two humorous stories involving barbers. Because you remember I was saying 5 o'clock shadow, that whole bit.
Oh, yeah.
But, despite himself, Will here admits that it was humorous. Did you catch that?
That's huge. Yeah.
He says, why just one joke when you could have had two, Dr. Noe? Two jokes, that is, shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This
is why Will should stick to Corrigenda and leave the on-air hosting to the professionals.
Yeah, there we go. Gotcha.
But we're very grateful that he's keeping us honest.
Yes,
and I learned something.
That guy keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, the people from Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens. How are you feeling about those in South Dakota?
Well, you know my problem
Still
with
South
Dakota. I didn't check this week, but I'm going to guess probably no unique downloads from Pierre this week.
I don't think so.
So I'm still pretty upset with South Dakota.
All right. Well,
are people from South Dakota full U.S. citizens?
They shouldn't be if they're not listening to the podcast.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what to say. But before we move on,
yes,
to the main theme of this particular episode, which is the Oxford Classical Dictionary, the OCD.
Yeah.
I have to mention a new opportunity for listeners.
Okay.
And I'm going to just kind of spring this on you, Winkle.
Okay.
I have a local friend named Scott Ruth, and this guy has developed a fantastic new product called Flex Calls.
Flex Calls?
Flex Calls.
Okay. What is this?
You call someone up, and then you flex, say, your bicep, and you intimidate them over the phone.
Okay. Right.
No, that's not it at all. No, it's flexcalls.com, and this is what he says. So this is kind of like a sponsor, but it's at least a product introduction.
Is this a bit? Are you doing a bit?
It's not a bit.
Okay, all right.
I don't do bits.
Go on, please. Carry on.
You know me. A bit. Scott says, earn extra income from paid calls with people who value what you do.
Okay.
All right. When people reach out to you for professional advice or help, send them your Flex Calls link. Does this ever happen to you, Jeff?
That people ask my professional advice? Very rarely.
Really?
Yes.
Almost
never.
What?
Yeah.
Well, now they're going to.
Okay.
They book a time and they pay per minute for a phone or a Zoom call. There is no app to install, no invoices to send, no marketplace to join, no subscription to pay. Go to flexcalls.com and you can set up your own page.
Okay.
And then if someone wants to get your advice, right,
Mm-hmm.
like how to come up with podcast bits, for example, they can consult you according to a really easy schedule, and they can get your input and your expertise. So I signed up.
All right.
Flexcalls.com
Okay.
/David C. Noe.
Okay. Have you gotten any calls down the...
Not yet.
Okay.
But if you go there, you can see a picture of me in the gym of all places.
Flexing?
No, I'm
Are you
not
in front of the mirror?
Well, I took a photo. No, I'm not flexing. There are weights in the background, and I'm smiling because part of the Flex Calls experience is that you have to, you've got to look like you really are interested in helping people. So you put a ham-faced kind of photo up there.
Okay.
And then there are all the terms and the details. I am getting a lot of calls like this. Not calls, but a lot of people asking for help about, say, Latin curriculum, translation, pedagogy, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's getting difficult in some ways to manage my time.
Gotcha.
So this is kind of a great solution, and I'm kind of unwrapping it, unveiling it here on the show.
Well, it sounds suspiciously a way for you to build community. I don't know where this is going.
It's all part of the media empire.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. Sodalitas, that's community in Latin. Sodalitas. So if you want to check it out, flexcalls.com /David C. Noe, or set up your own page. Maybe you are an expert in accounting, law. Maybe you're an expert in, I don't know, any number of things.
Yeah.
Here's a way to connect with people who could use your help and are willing to pay for it.
Sounds pretty cool.
All right. So now, Jeff, it's time to get into the nit and the grit
Let's do it.
of this particular episode.
Yeah.
The origin, you might say, the genesis or the backstory of this episode lies with one of our listeners, a man named J.B. Lilly.
Okay.
I don't think he's any relation to Eli, the pharmaceutical mogul. Name's not spelled the same. But he sent us a wonderful email. He eventually will get a shout out. And this is what he said. I also wanted to request more episodes on the how of being a student of the classical world. He said, how should the independent learner of Latin and Greek go about their learning? Where do you two, that's you and me, Jeff, where do you two turn when something does not make sense in a text that you are reading? So that's the jumping off point, you might say, the genesis of this whole particular episode. We've dealt with this kind of thing a little bit before, right?
Yes.
We did What's the Best Latin Textbook, Parts 1 and 2.
Right.
What's the best What's the best textbook for Greek, Parts 1, 2, and 3.
That's right.
You had an episode that you kind of helmed, which was how to use secondary literature.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about some of the great
Some of our
authors
favorites, right?
who have
Yeah.
influenced us and guided us along our classical path.
Yeah.
So this is a very important question.
Yeah.
You're reading through Apuleius, Homer, Demosthenes, Cicero. You encounter some unusual name, character, geographical location. What are you going to do?
Right. Right. Well, are you asking me straight up, or you just
Yes,
you just
Jeff,
let
what are you
go?
gonna do?
Well, I mean, this is
Maybe you can trace a little bit of the what did you do?
Yeah.
Say prior to grad school,
Right.
being introduced to particular tools. What do most people do now? And what is kind of maybe the optimal path?
Right. Yeah, no, when I went off to graduate school, it was still before kind of the big digital revolution.
Right.
And that kind of software, I mean, the internet was not around yet. That was still a glimmer in somebody's eye.
That's right.
And so it was all book text-based. And I remember one of my very first assignment that was given to me in graduate school was my professor, John Wright. He says, pick a topic that you're interested in, anything under the umbrella of ancient Greece and Rome. And he says, what I want is you to go mine the library and build for me kind of a comprehensive bibliography about that topic.
Wow. So anything from Homer, right? Or maybe even back to the Minoans, like 1800 BC.
Yeah.
All the way down through maybe Augustine, 430 AD.
Right.
And it happened in the Mediterranean.
Yes.
That's your brief.
That's your brief, right. And so, and then he gave the advice, this is, the narrower your topic, the easier this assignment is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Or in some ways, even the better. So, don't choose Homer as your topic. And I remember I chose the Oracle of Delphi.
Okay.
Which at the end of this assignment, I realized that was still too broad.
Huge. I remember those days well as an undergrad.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the first days of grad school, but I had the kind of the undergrad hangover, you might say. Things they carried on is a better way to put it, not a hangover, but you write a paper for a philosophy class and you say, I'm going to write about justice in Plato, right?
Right.
Impossible.
Right.
You can't possibly contribute to that conversation in a 12-page paper.
Right.
It's been going on thousands of years.
Right.
You can find something that's more niche and specific, then you can construct that bibliography.
Yeah.
So as you wandered through the library at Northwestern, how did this adventure go?
It was I learned a lot. It ended up being a very practical exercise for me. But what I did not get any direction from my professors. It was going off to grad school. There was a lot of things that they assumed that I simply knew, which I did not.
Right. Was this by looking at you? I thought, well, he's presentable. He seems quite put together. He must know a lot.
No, it was kind of like just throw him in the deep end of the pool and see what happens.
I see.
Because I mean, as much as I had a good experience in my undergraduate days, I did not come out of that with a sharpened sense of this is how you approach a research topic. I look back at it now, and I think there too, even from the professors that we shared at graduate school, I did not get a lot of kind of direct practical help about how to go about doing that. I stumbled through it.
Well, I can say that I think they taught philology really well.
Yeah.
That is, forms of words, meaning of words, how to translate, how to put all of that together. But they were teaching to a broader audience, so
Yeah.
their concern wasn't necessarily to prep people for grad school.
Right.
So
yeah, good point.
I knew a couple of different resources. I knew the Liddell Scott and Jones lexicon.
Yeah.
You know that it came in 3 sizes.
The big, middle, and little.
Yeah,
right?
like the little, the what is the middle,
little,
and the Great Scott.
there we go. Right.
And
yeah.
I knew there was an Oxford Latin dictionary, and I knew that the Collins, is that the Latin dictionary?
Yeah.
Was terrible.
Yeah.
And I knew about Smythe and Goodwin, but that's about as far as it extended.
Right. So yeah, no, totally the same. So when I went off to graduate school and was learning about things like, l'année philologique, this annual volume that was a comprehensive bibliography of things published in the classics.
And we're going to get to that in this episode.
That was brand new,
right,
to me. And so it was really by kind of trial and error that I kind of stumbled onto these things. I wonder, in terms of our undergraduate too, I wonder it was about, in some ways, the limits of the library that we had.
Sure.
Right?
Although it's a pretty good library for its time.
For its time.
Mm-hmm.
But, when I went up to Northwestern, the library had everything.
Right.
And so, I learned to know this is your first stop.
Yeah.
These are the first 5 things you go through.
Okay.
And then you go from there.
Yeah. So do you remember what grade you got on that assignment?
No. John Wright was a pretty laid back guy. I think I got an A.
Nice.
But it was and I
you were put together.
I like that assignment because it really did in some ways kind of set the stage for everything else I did in grad school. So now I know at least where to begin.
So I had a similar experience arriving in grad school, and one of my first courses, maybe the first one, was Herodotus with Jonathan Goldstein, who was a fantastic scholar.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit bristly as a teacher, so I made him my model, as you can tell. He took me and a very bright young man, Samuel Husky, to the Iowa Library, and he took us on the grand tour.
Yeah.
He said, bring along a pencil and a notebook. I'm going to teach you how to be a scholar. And we spent maybe an hour and a half. He's pointing us to this. Here's the Megzenbury, Greek history. Here's the Polyvisova. Mm-hmm. Here is, all of the classical journal. Here's classical world. Here's the recherche stuff. Here's l'année philologique. All of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a brand new world, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that was very, very helpful. You kind of get the sense of the lay of the land, and then you're told, now you're going to be using these for the next 4 or 5 years. You better figure it out.
Right. That's really cool. I did not have that. I would wish I had a professor that was willing to take me over to the library, kind of point me and and this is where you start. But it was much more kind of like, go figure it out.
Well, this particular professor, whose memory I cherish, he's deceased now, was known for being kind of crotchety and really challenging in the classroom, and I could tell some stories about that. But this was an act of just pure kindness.
Yeah.
That he would, take time to show a couple of rubes. This is how you use a research library.
Right.
So we're going to go through some of these resources.
Yeah.
And our eventual destination is the Oxford Classical Dictionary.
Right.
So one of the things that Professor Goldstein introduced me to was the Realencyclopädie der klassischen Altertum Wissenschaft.
That sounds very Germany.
It is. And I probably mispronounced it. Universally known as the Polyvisova.
Yes.
Or simply the RE, right? Mm-hmm. The Realencyclopedia. It's the most comprehensive and monumental encyclopedia of the ancient world ever produced.
Yeah.
So it goes through several different stages.
Now, I heard of the original Pauli it was only available along the beach. It was known as the Pauli Shore.
No, Jeff. Nobody knows who that is.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay, then other people know who it is.
All right.
Right. No, so the original Pauli, the dates 1837 to 1852. This was the first attempt at building this.
A comprehensive encyclopedia of ancient literature and so forth.
Right. And this is this is indicative of things that we've mentioned before about how kind of modern classical scholarship really begins in Germany.
That's correct, in the 19th century.
Yep.
So the project began with August Pauli, a Gymnasium professor from Stuttgart. 1837, he started the Realencyclopädie der klassischen Altertum Wissenschaft in alphabetischer Ordnung, which is alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm.
That same professor that I mentioned to you, Jonathan Goldstein, he once told me, if you're a complete idiot in every way, he was looking at me, there's one thing that can save you.
What's that?
Alphabetical order. If you know the alphabet, you'll be okay.
Really?
You can pick your way through things because they're all organized that way.
Right. Okay.
So the scope of the original Pauli was intended as a reference for teachers and students. But then in 1845, something very unfortunate happened.
Well,
Jeff.
Pauli dies before the first edition was even finished, and it was left to others, one Waltz and Teufel, who completed the work, and it resulted in 6 volumes.
That's correct.
Now, another memory of mine early in grad school was going to the section of the library that had the complete Pauli, and it's massive in its current form. It took up multiple shelves. Yeah,
that's right.
So it already began big with 6 volumes, and then it grows and grows and grows.
That's right.
Yep.
Then next is the Vesova Revolution, 1890. By the late 19th century, the original work was outdated. The publisher J.B. Metzler tasked George Vesova with creating a new edition, or Georg. Vesova reimagined it on a scale never before seen, to create a work where every significant person, place, and concept from antiquity had a dedicated, exhaustive entry.
And this next stat is crazy. So Vesova expected that the project would take 10 years, which is long enough.
Correct.
But ultimately, it took 84 years to complete the whole thing.
Exactly like the renovation of my kitchen.
that ongoing, never-ending project. Yes.
You got to do a little spackling here. Yeah. You got to replace a switch plate there.
Yeah.
You have any long-term projects? None approaching 84 years, I imagine.
Oh, all over the place.
Yeah.
So, and then when you throw in some attention deficit disorder, it gets even worse.
Mm.
Yeah.
So then the structure of the Pauli Vesova, 2 series and supplements. Because the project was so vast, it was published in a complex arrangement that can be a bit of a maze for modern researchers. There's the first series, the Raya 1, covering the letters A through Q. The second series, Raya 2, covering the letters R through Z, last published in 1972. Then there are, of course, supplemental volumes. And what are these made up of?
These are mainly designed to keep up with new archaeological discoveries, and so things like the Oxyrhynchus papyri, these scrolls that were pulled out of the desert sands of Egypt that are still to this day being translated and digitized and released. So people might be asking, like, that you shared that detail, is that the encyclopedia was out of date. How does something from a zillion years ago become out of date? I mean, there's many answers to that, but one of the things we could point out is that archaeological discoveries are always ongoing.
Correct.
So these things need to be updated.
Well, I wonder if the Ad Nauseam podcast has made it into the RE, the Pauli Vesova Encyclopedia.
I could only dream of being so honored. Yeah.
So by the time it was finished in 1978, the RE consisted of over 80 volumes.
Yeah.
But then, what did people realize?
It's too big.
It's too big. So what comes next?
Der Kleine Pauli, which is the new or smaller Pauli, right?
And Der Neue Pauli, 2 separate ones. 80-plus volumes of dense German academic prose were inaccessible to most.
Say.
So the project changed. Der Kleine Pauli, finished in 1975, condensed 5-volume version that became the standard desk reference for scholars. So if you're listening to this and you're a Latin teacher, you're a autodidact learning Greek or Latin, and you're thinking, well, but what use does this have for me? Well, we're going to get to that eventually. Hang with us. But we're trying to describe the landscape here of classical research and scholarship, so you can you can take your first steps into it, perhaps.
Yeah. Now, I remember the new Pauli came out while I was in grad school.
Yes.
And this was...
Too much fanfare.
It was creating quite a buzz on a very tiny scale.
Wasn't there a ticker tape parade in New York? The volumes rode through the streets of down Madison Avenue.
In the back of an open-top car.
In the back of a convertible. People were hanging out windows and blowing kisses.
It was huge. It was like VE Day all over again.
That's correct.
That's right.
Even today, Pauli Vesova is the final boss of classical research. If you are looking for an obscure Roman magistrate, Jeff, are you?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or a specific legal term in a Greek city-state, like Epithopoeia, when we were talking about Lysias, a light in the attic. The RE is usually the only place that provides an exhaustive list of every primary source citation available.
It really is a staggering achievement.
It is.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
It is essentially the history of German Altertumwissenschaft, science of antiquity, at its peak.
Right. So that's, that was, I learned in grad school that Pauli was the gold standard.
I haven't used it very much, I'll be frank.
Same here.
But I know it's there, and sometimes I dream about it.
Right. The shift of all this stuff to online and kind of searchable databases has really hasn't made Pauli less relevant, but it's not the same thing as having the 5 volumes set on your desk.
Oh, definitely not.
Right.
Because entry-level information is far more available. It still remains the gold standard, right? The Everest or something like that. But the amount of entry-level information is much broader.
Right.
So we'll talk about Wikipedia eventually. We'll talk about AI and how these kinds of tools might fit within those parameters.
Yeah.
So what's next up on the list here?
Then we get the Cambridge. Cambridge gets in the game here, right? So the Cambridge History of Classical Literature, the CHCL.
Have you ever encountered the CHCL?
I have. Again, for me personally, it was not my kind of go-to.
For you, it was Conte, right?
Well, I mean, Conte was very important, but I would also say we're going to get around to the OCD.
Right.
But that still is kind of a first stop in any kind of project that I have.
Absolutely.
So the Cambridge History of Classical Literature, I remember it was big chunks of it were assigned to me.
That's right.
For one of my comprehensive exams.
Yes, black and red.
Yeah.
Bound in black and red. So that's something that I think if one's using Wikipedia or some AI source, even if you could guarantee a kind of perfect reliability with those sources, which you cannot,
Right.
they hallucinate or make stuff up, or they have a slant.
Yes, they do.
They don't have any of the aesthetic joy of handling a musty old volume.
Right.
And I remember things based on where they're located on the page sometimes. And those CHCLs were green and black, and I was assigned, or orange and black, I was assigned to read them for various comprehensive exams.
Yeah.
Read all of these entries. So you sit down with a pencil and a 99-cent composition notebook, and you just write down everything you think someone's going to ask you.
Right. Now, here's a huge problem, though, is that I look at my university library or my college library, a community college, right? So it's not going to be a powerhouse type of library that you're going to find on a Big Ten campus,
Like Northwestern.
Right.
It's not aimed at that.
It's not aimed at that. But I was in preparation for this episode, I was just out of curiosity, I scanned through the library catalog, and none of those physical volumes are on the shelf at my college.
Wow.
I'm not shocked, but they did. I mean, all of them. If you are a student at my college, they will point you to an available online version, which is great. But say for like an independent scholar looking for a hard copy,
Right.
and maybe you don't live in a town that has a university or a big time library, it is hard to do. And if you're going to search it online, it's going to be behind a paywall.
Exactly.
So this stuff can be. It seems like, oh, we just go check out the book, right? Or just search it online. No, there's a lot of barriers.
Well,
in
we're
the
going to
way.
talk about that a little bit later on, because I think those are some important questions and some important problems to try to address.
Yeah.
So the CHCL was conceived as a 2-volume set to provide a cohesive narrative of ancient literary history, moving away from the dry encyclopedic style, paging Polly Vasova, right, of earlier works toward a more integrated literary approach. So it's in 2 volumes, Jeff.
Yes.
The first one is Greek literature, published in 1985, and Latin literature, which actually finished earlier in 1982.
Yeah. Now to illustrate, you were just talking about how sometimes AI makes things up or gets things wrong. You sent me kind of a list of some things you want to cover.
Right.
In your email, you put that abbreviation CHCL, which did not jump out at me. What is that?
Right.
In the Cambridge history.
So you looked it up?
So I said, I wonder how AI would define this. And they defined that this was the Cambridge history of Roman warfare.
What?
Yes.
But that's the CHRW.
I know.
Which doesn't exist.
It does not exist, right. So
funny.
Right. So,
it's just so eager to please.
It is.
It'll
just
make anything
make
up.
stuff up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So volume 1, edited by Easterling and the famous Bernard Knox, right, the oldest dead white men, remains a cornerstone of Greek studies, covers the span from Homer and the oral tradition through the Hellenistic period and into the imperial era.
Right.
So what are some key aspects of this particular set, the CHCL?
So this set emphasized the performance aspect of Greek literature. And so instead of treating texts as static documents, they explored how epic, lyric, and drama functioned in the public life of the polis.
You like that?
I do like that. And as I'm reading that, it makes me wish that I had relied upon this much more. That kind of that text in context.
Right.
How did this function? What did it look like, sound like, back in the day? I love that kind of approach.
Right.
Yep.
Then volume 2, which actually came out before the Greek volume in 1982, is the Cambridge History of Latin Literature, edited by E.J. Kenny, very famous scholar.
Yeah, he did a lot of work on Apuleius.
And W.V. Clausen, that's Wendell Clausen, who wrote a very famous book entitled The Roman Navy and Seafaring. This guy is an expert. This volume was actually released before the Greek volume. It traces Latin letters from the early remains of the Republic, the so-called Lapis Niger, the Black Stone, the earliest Latin inscription, and the Silver Ages to the threshold of the Middle Ages. Now, I never spent as much time in the Cambridge history of Latin literature because I was reading it only for exams.
Yeah.
I didn't find it as readable as Conte. I can sit down and read Conte just for fun, honestly.
Conte is great.
He's such a fine stylist.
Yes.
And the Joseph Sodolo translation of Conte's Italian is equally brilliant.
Right.
What are some keys in the approach of the Cambridge history of Latin literature?
Yeah, so this one focused on the continuity of the Latin tradition, challenging the older view that Latin literature was merely an imitation of the Greek, highlighting instead unique Roman innovations in satire, law, and rhetoric. Right. So that challenges that aspect of culture that we've talked a lot about in this podcast.
That's right.
Or it kind of challenges that easy cliche that the Romans just took what the Greeks had and changed the names.
Definitely.
Right? So, yep.
And then, as a companion, I also learned about the Cambridge Ancient History, and I was assigned...
The CAH.
Yeah, the CAH. I was assigned to read large portions of this because one of my comprehensive exams, of course, was Roman history. Another one was Greek history.
Yep.
So you
Same
had...
here.
The comps were Greek history, Roman history, Greek language, Latin language. Then there was Greek special author, Latin special author, so that's 6 for those keeping count. And then there was a final, just omnibus exam. We can ask you anything about anything.
Right.
And then finally you can prepare for the dissertation.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal, wasn't it?
Looking back, yes. I'm glad I did it as a younger man. I don't know if I'd have the strength now.
No doubt.
So what's in the Cambridge Ancient History? Also color themed, like the CHCL, orange and black or red and black.
Yeah. So in volumes 3 through 6, you cover the rise of the polis through Alexander the Great. In the Roman history, volumes 7 through 14, you cover the rise of Rome through the late Empire and the transition to the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
So again, a comprehensive look at the full scope of Greco-Roman history.
Right. Very good. So as we get on in the episode, we're going to talk about ways that our listeners could access these if they want to, but here is maybe the simplest and best way. If you are ever in a bookstore, right? And a lot of libraries are purging this kind of material.
True.
Even Calvin University, just next door, is getting rid of large amounts of classical journals and just dumping them into a recycling bin or a dumpster.
Yeah.
You can find these sometimes in used bookstores, and nobody wants them. Now, you might say, well, why should I buy them if I can access all of this information online? Well, you can't access all of it, as Jeff already mentioned. There's a paywall, and you can't really trust necessarily the reliability of Wikipedia or AI,
Right.
although the latter is improving. But something you'll be missing is just the joy of reading the book.
Right, exactly. And I'll add to that. I was looking around this morning at some of the online options for a lot of these major databases, and because of where I teach, I have access to most of them. But a lot of the online versions are really unuser friendly.
Oh yeah,
They're not like the L'année philologique, the year in philology.
poorly designed.
Horribly designed.
Yeah.
Now I will say the Oxford Classical Dictionary online is fantastic.
Yes.
But even in the online versions, you're kind of rolling the dice.
Right. Yep. The Oxford English Dictionary, the OED, by virtue of having some membership in a couple of different institutions, I get access to that.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because a full subscription is thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
If you did nothing but read the OED all day long, and you did that for, say, 4 or 5 years, I'm convinced you would have a better education than 90% of professional academics.
Is that right?
There's just so much learning in it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Still, I think there's something to be said for the aesthetic of a cup of coffee, a nice place to sit,
Yeah.
a nice chair, some sun coming through the window. And I find the older I get, those kinds of ambient elements actually facilitate my learning in a way that the digital environment does not.
I fully agree. Totally agree.
So we have just one more to cover, I think, which is the L'année philologique,
Yes.
which we have mentioned several times. And then we're going to pivot to the OCD itself.
Yes.
So set us up for the L'année, please.
Right. So you'll see this abbreviated APH. I can't tell you how many times that those 3 little letters were pounded into my brain.
Exactly.
In graduate school. Yeah. This is the bibliography. Now you're not going to this collection for like information about a topic, right?
No.
You are just going there.
You're not reading an encyclopedia entry.
Right.
This is an index.
Yes. And so these volumes come out, and they list kind of every book chapter, every article that's been published on the topic of classical antiquity. It's
Right.
not, I found throughout the years it's not foolproof,
Okay.
but it is the most comprehensive that you're going to get. I was just looking this morning. So each volume is the scholarship in classical antiquity for a particular year.
Correct.
And so I just read that
The year in philology.
yes,
Right?
right. And this there's a bit of a lag. I was just reading this morning that the 2023 volume just came out.
So I was going to say, are they up to 1969 yet?
it's not as bad as that, but there usually is kind of a 3 to 4 year lag
Okay.
before the volume comes out. So, I mean, it's absolutely labor intensive. I mean, I think less so in kind of the era that we live in.
A lot has been automated in terms of the manipulation of text.
Right.
For sure.
But this is where I learned early on is this is where you're going to find all the standard abbreviations
Sure.
for works, for authors.
Right.
That is every volume will have. I can't remember either in the front or the back.
A legend, usually in the front.
Yeah, they'll have all of the standardized abbreviations, and so when you're writing your own scholarship, you as a classical scholar, you're expected to kind of abide by those rules.
You got to learn it.
Yep.
So when you were working on your dissertation on Apuleius, right? This would have been what, 2002?
Yeah, around the year 2000.
Okay, 2000. Yeah. You went to L'Année Philologique,
yes.
and you said, "Let me see if I can find what anyone has said on Apuleius in the last few years."
Yes, exactly right.
And when I was working on mine on Cicero, I did the same thing. I want to know, I mean, at least I need to know what people have written on Cicero in the last 25 years.
Yeah, and for me in the year 2000, that meant going to the library and stacking these hard copy books and leafing through them.
Paging through them.
Mm-hmm.
So the L'Année, there's a gold set. They change the color based on, I think it's decade.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Will, are you listening? Because you can find this out for us.
Sure, Will knows.
There's a gold set. There's a purple set. But you'd have to page through them, once again, alphabetically ordered.
Yes.
And you find, okay, this particular German scholar, right, in Strasbourg or Kern, wrote an article on Cicero, and I better track that down because I don't want to be embarrassed by writing a paper or a chapter that says something about Cicero when someone else has already done it,
right,
or refuted the point in question.
Yes, yeah, exactly. In some ways, it was. I mean, the cynic would say it's about kind of padding your own bibliography.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So even if you're not engaging with a scholarship, you put it there to.
But you got to at least find the article,
right?
And if you're honest, hopefully you read it. I don't know.
Right.
My dissertation had, as I think I've mentioned, maybe 2 German articles and 2 French articles, just to show representation. Yeah. You know, I put in the time, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this was the vision of one Jules Marousseau in 1924, the French classicist. He founded the International Society for Classical Bibliography. I haven't given the French. A singular goal: create a systematic annual bibliography of all classical research. So this carried on then and expanded internationally. And so now there's an American office located at Duke. There are German, Italian, and Spanish offices. And which major publisher, Jeff, is currently maintaining L'Année?
That would be the Brepolis, or the Brepols Publishers Platform.
Okay.
They're the ones who are in charge of keeping this all together today.
Yep. Yes. And the L'Année is the gold standard?
Yeah. I think it's still, I mean, one of the things that I've always really liked, or I don't know, been proud of kind of our discipline, is that I think compared to other disciplines, but I think both in the sciences and the humanities, classics was really is at the forefront of this kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Of this gathering of information, and it seems counterintuitive, but even on the digital side, there's been a lot of kind of really interesting kind of digital scholarship by classical scholars of kind of gathering these practical kinds of databases and making this stuff available in visual and in text and visual form. Yeah,
absolutely. So to summarize, you might say that without L'Année Philologique, classical scholarship would basically be blind. You couldn't know what had been written on a specific line of Greek poetry or a particular Roman archaeological site.
Without a doubt.
And speaking about blind scholarship,
yes,
it is time for the ads.
Do it. This episode of Ad Nauseam is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Ratio Coffee. Hey, do yourself a favor, listener. go to ratiocoffee.com and see these wonderful machines. As Dave and I have talked extensively, we have both I think we've both used all the machines that they've had.
I have never used the 6.
Okay,
I have owned a couple 6 and handed them on to close friends and family members.
Yes, right. I've used the 8, which is still it's the flagship. It's the flagship machine in my house. I've had the little brother, the 6, and I also have the 4 as a desktop unit in my office.
There you go.
I've used them all. Great stuff. Just a great product, and they just brew the wonderful, consistent cup of coffee every single morning.
A go cup of Joe, as someone once said.
Yes.
We are coming up on a major holiday.
Yep.
A hallmark holiday, if you will. The Dies ad Matres Destinatus.
Okay.
The day designated for moms.
Oh, yes.
So if you want to up your coffee game, maybe now would be a good time.
Excellent. Great idea. Yeah. And if you want to do that, go to ratiocoffee.com. That's RATIO coffee.com/ad nauseum. Don't forget the V in ad nauseum. And if you type in this coupon code, ANRatio2026, Dave, that will get them
$20 off any coffee machine at checkout. Now, some people might say, Dr. Winkle,
yeah,
this is a pretty costly machine. Yeah. I can go get a Dack and Blecker or a Senior Coffee or one of these squirty plastic machines at Kmart, or Woolworths.
Woolworths?
Or Montgomery Ward.
There we go. Yeah,
Those are 3 that are out of business, I'm pretty sure.
I think so too, right.
For $11.99. Yeah. Why would I spend upwards of $200 on a coffee machine?
Well, you can certainly go do that, but you're going to be replacing those things quite often. If you want something that's if you want to invest in your coffee game, something that's going to basically be a family heirloom, I think that if you're serious about your coffee, Ratio is the way to go.
So you don't want your coffee to smell like hot plastic?
No.
Or a scorch pad?
That's not my taste.
What do you want it to smell like?
You want it to smell like just purely wonderfully brewed coffee. That's
okay.
What, yeah.
Ratiocoffee.com/ad nauseum. Check it out. Listener, we are drawing to a close with our relationship with Della Chelpka, wrapping up our partnership with Della Chelpka Art. We wanted to give you one final opportunity. Della is a professional oil painter creating original work designed for your home and other spaces that matter. If you've been living with a blank wall, maybe staring at it, or some generic stock photography, this is a good moment to change that. For a limited time, you can use the code FINAL20. Is that a Europe song?
The Final 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a big hit.
I'm just glad that I got the pop reference correct.
Good job.
I got the band right.
That's right.
That was by Toto, right?
Yeah, it was Europe.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I said that.
Yeah, you did.
Use the code FINAL20 for 20% off. Go to dellachelpka.art. Jeff, can you spell that?
Yeah, DELLACHELPKA.ART.
To find and collect your own original oil painting. They make remarkable gifts as well. Again, dellachelpka.art and use FINAL20. I just got my beautiful painting.
Fantastic.
Sunny side up. I just got it framed.
Did you really?
Yeah. Soon it's going to be hanging on my wall. FINAL20, dellachelpka.art.
And this episode is brought to you by Hackett Publishing. We love these guys. I think they love us, or they like us. They tolerate us.
They keep supporting us.
They do. With their offices in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Indianapolis, Indiana. These guys have been with our humble little podcast since the very beginning.
That's right. In fact, I have to say, if I may interrupt.
Yeah.
Of all of the classics-based podcasts that they support,
yes,
we are one of them.
We are one of them, yes. But I remember it well. It was your idea to drop them a note, see if they'd be interested. We had really no, maybe a handful of episodes behind us.
I think we had 3 episodes in the bag at that point.
Right, and they came back
averaging
and said,
7.5 listeners.
And they came back and said, yeah, let's do it. And
we're on board.
Right. And this is, it wasn't just a shot in the dark. Both Dave and I love this company.
That's right.
They are very well known for publishing really high quality volumes at an affordable price in an attractive package.
That's right.
What more could you want?
Collected works of Aristotle, several different translations of Plato's Republic.
That's right.
Also, we have multiple editions of the Metamorphoses, the Ambrose translation, the Lombardo translation, Greek tragedy, Greek comedy, you name it. Hardly a week goes by where I don't say, I wonder if Hackett has this, and lo and behold,
they do.
They do.
They do.
But they're just limited to classics, right, Jeff?
Not at all. They have a ton of classics.
What?
But if you are interested in many different areas of the humanities, of different traditions, they have Asian studies, Islamic studies.
The history of the samurai.
Is that in their catalog?
It is.
That's fantastic.
John Belushi as the Samurai Deli.
That's right.
I don't think that's in their catalog.
No, maybe in a footnote. But hey, do yourself a favor. Go to hackettpublishing.com. That is HACKETT publishing.com. Find the books that you want. And if you use this coupon code, listener, AN2026, that's AN as in ad nauseum, plus the current year. And Dave, that will get them actually 3 wonderful things. Name them, please.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this order okay?
Yeah. What?
Is the order I'm going to give them, is that okay?
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, 20% off your entire order,
Huge.
which is a significant and steep discount.
Mm-hmm.
Danube.com, Hudson.com
No.
is not going to give you 20% off.
Not even close.
Secondly, you're going to get free shipping.
Yep.
And perhaps more rewarding, you're going to get?
You're going to get the satisfaction of supporting this humble little podcast. Check it out.
Check it out.
All right, Dave. OCD.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
The Oxford Classical Dictionary. Now, maybe we should issue a little bit of a caveat here.
Okay.
Those who actually struggle with this psychological condition, we are not trying to have fun at their expense.
No.
But for a long time, maybe because I don't know, have some of those tendencies.
Yeah.
Whenever I thought of the Oxford Classical Dictionary,
Yeah.
I could not get out of my mind the notion that the abbreviation is the same. It's the OCD.
So you
I was obsessed.
You're obsessed with the
I was.
with the OCD
I'll be honest.
being like the OCD.
That's
yeah,
right.
Gotcha.
So what's the history of this resource and why is it so valuable?
Well, it is widely regarded as if you're going to pick one volume,
Correct.
Right? I think all these things we're talking about. If you're going to go for one volume, this is the one to get.
Yes. Now, Conte, if you want a comprehensive and beautiful history of the Latin language, buy this from Johns Hopkins Press.
Yeah.
Get it in the hardback, the paperback if you can't afford the hardback. But the OCD is quite different.
Yeah.
Because it contains everything.
Everything, right. This was the book where my advisor, as I was talking with him about prepping for my qualifying exams, he says, this is the one you keep in the loo. Yeah.
Did he give you a lot of bathroom-based reading suggestions?
He did.
Okay.
Exactly. This is the only one I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
But my advisor was a Brit by way of Tel Aviv.
Interesting.
And so he says that keep this in the loo.
Interesting.
And make use of. He was trying to say make use of every spare moment.
Yeah.
And just read this thing, and it will sink in.
So I once heard a story. This is a digression, Jeff. I once heard a story. The wife of one of our colleagues,
Okay.
you know, young Kim.
Yes.
So his wife Betty once told a story about another colleague. She was taking a class from a language colleague, not in classics, but at that institution where we no longer work.
Yes.
And this professor mentioned in class that he was grading their assignments in the restroom. That's too much.
That's way too much information.
Way too much. We all have to have boundaries.
That's right.
And this person clearly crossed that boundary.
He leapt over that boundary.
Exactly.
Oh, that's horrible.
So your professor said, keep this one in the loo.
In the loo.
Now, why did he say that?
It was a roundabout way of him saying, it says, this is the standard, right? If this is your go-to. And it is true that for many research projects, or if I have a student that is interested in something that's a little bit kind of off the path, I will point them to the OCD because it's a great place to start. Because what you're going to get is you're going to get kind of a short, often kind of pithy article, which kind of just kind of strips down important topics to the bare bones. But you'll also get kind of almost a little mini bibliography from antiquity. They'll show you kind of, using l'année philologique abbreviations, where you're going to information about this in ancient authors.
That's right. That's right. So let me read a little bit from the preface to the first edition. This is June 1948. The idea of the present work, the publication of which has been inevitably delayed by the war, was first conceived in 1933. Nothing like a world war to delay good scholarship, right? Mm-hmm. It is designed to cover the same ground, though on a different scale, as the well-known dictionaries by Sir William Smith on Greek and Roman antiquities and on Greek and Roman biography, mythology, and geography. The 8th edition, 1914, of Lübker's Real Lexicon was taken as a general model. Once again, Jeff, influence of German scholarship.
Yes, it's everywhere.
But with certain modifications in principle and with certain differences in emphases. The present work is intended to be less purely factual than Lübker. It devotes more space to biography and literature, less to geography, and to bibliographical information, aiming in this latter respect at no more than referring the reader to the best work in English and foreign languages on the various subjects. The terminus ad quem is, generally speaking, the death of Constantine, 337.
Yep.
And proportionately less space has been allotted to persons who lived later than the 2nd century AD, but a few prominent figures of later ages, such as Augustine, Eustachius, Phocius, Cellus, Thomas Magister, Triclinius, and Tzetzes, who are important for the student of classical antiquity, have been included. Christian writers, as such, have been excluded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like that they give that kind of that hard cutoff. I think a lot that's also been very influential when people talk about what are the brackets of kind of the classical world.
Right.
I think kind of cutting it off at the death of Constantine is as good a date as any.
It's quite good. In fact, I have already learned something from prepping this episode, which is that my standard practice mentioned earlier in the episode of considering the classical world Homer, or maybe go back to the Minoans, to Augustine 430.
Yeah.
I probably overshot the mark.
Yeah, maybe
maybe I should use the OCD standard and pull it back to 337, death of Constantine.
But even the OCD says
it's true.
Augustine is worth
They snuck some Augustine in there,
right.
They said that's not going to be our main focus.
Right.
This is part of I would say, the beauty of being a scholar, right? I don't mean a professional scholar, although that has its beauty. I mean being someone who's interested in learning.
Yeah.
Is that you're always participating in a broader project.
Yes. Yep.
So that's the first edition. How many editions has this work gone through?
Well, I think we're currently in the 4th edition. So the 2nd edition expanded the original a bit, started adding more archaeological detail.
Correct.
The 3rd edition, which from the reading I did, is still the one. If you're going to find this on the shelf, usually today on a library, you're going to find the 1996 3rd edition.
Right.
Edited by Simon Hornblower and Anthony Spawforth.
Exactly.
Again, two giants of classical scholarship.
Right.
Yep.
Very good. So the first edition, M. Carey, one of my favorite guys, J.D. Denniston, Particle Man,
Yeah.
J. White Duff, Knock Ross, and Scullard focused heavily on traditional philology, political history, and biography. The 2nd edition was Hammond, N.G.I. Hammond, an expert on Alexander, and H.H. Scullard.
Scullard coming back for round 2. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Focused on archaeological evidence and broader historical contexts. I think the great scholars, Jeff, get asked to participate in these projects because they have, well, frankly, an encyclopedic knowledge. But I think they also want to because these are the books that actually sell.
Yeah, true.
Or they used to.
Yeah.
No self-respecting university or college in the United States could be without these at one point.
At one point, no longer.
Whether anybody reads them, I don't know, but every university library would have them.
Yeah.
I remember 1996 when the 3rd edition of the OCD came out.
Me too.
Another ticker tape parade, if you remember.
Yeah.
Simon Hornblower. I was so fascinated by that guy's name.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And Anthony Spawforth. 30% larger than its predecessor and introduced some significant changes. So what were these changes?
Yeah, added entries for new classicism. Topics including gender studies, social history, and anthropology. So
your favorite.
It certainly kind of reflects kind of certainly the tenor of 90s scholarship.
Absolutely, right? The milieu.
Yep. Started to look at how the classical world influenced later periods. So what we call reception studies, which is also huge in that bubble of classical scholarship today, and then thematic essays as well. So you have entries not just on particular kind of figures or buildings or whatever, which you have things on death, on sexuality, on magic,
right,
and the like.
So I have here in my hands, right here on the desk, the 2nd edition.
The 2nd, okay.
I have my own copy of the 2nd edition.
Do you remember when and where you got that?
At some used book sale. Yeah. Someone was giving one away, and I jumped on that like a cat on a fat mouse. You cannot believe how quickly I moved.
Yes.
To get that. Yeah. I don't remember if I paid for it or if it was a giveaway.
Man.
Because I'm sure I'd be a little better off with the 3rd edition. But I'm doing real well with a free 2nd edition.
Absolutely.
So again, listener, if you find one of these, it's a treasure. Hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as you said, in the 4th edition and the digital era.
Yes. So again, the 4th edition was edited also by Hornblower and Spawforth once again, with added help from Esther Edenau. And here again, the what we call kind of mission creep.
Right.
So now we're Near Eastern antiquity, Near Eastern studies are kind of coming into the fold as well.
So that's a little bit of a history of these different volumes,
yeah,
including the OCD, one of my favorites. But Jeff, now we're living in 2026.
Oh yeah,
the world has advanced. People are not traveling around in carts pulled by donkeys.
No,
things have changed.
Things have changed. Yes.
So what does the landscape look like now?
It is almost purely digital, and you can access all of these books and resources that we've been talking about online But I think, as you mentioned earlier too, if you're just going searching from home or on your phone,
Right.
you're going to run smack. You're going to face plant into a paywall.
So it's going to be like max headroom, right?
Oh yeah,
Pure energy.
Oh man, that's a deep cut.
Thank
right
you.
there.
So talk about some of the different prices and availability, because now we have bad news to share generally with the devoted listener.
Right. So if you wanted online access to the Oxford Classical Dictionary, you can get it. It'll cost you $10 a month.
Right.
So I think that's cheaper than Netflix. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah. Most of your streaming
Now
services.
people are laughing, right? As though you could substitute Netflix for the Oxford Classical Dictionary.
Right.
But that's unlimited use.
Unlimited use, and you can, if you subscribe for a whole year, there's some savings, $100 for a full year.
It's pretty cheap.
Right. And like I mentioned earlier, as I was kind of poking around this morning, looking at some of the online versions of these, I think the OCD online version is by far the best.
What stood out to you as making
just
it
really
superior?
user friendly, kind of easily searchable. Every entry will kind of contain hyperlinks that will kind of take you to other relevant passages. So it's very easy to kind of go down the rabbit hole of your choice. But if you were using this as a starting point for scholarship, I'd be hard pressed to find something better. Great stuff.
So I'm just right now looking on ABE Books,
Yeah.
which I believe is owned by Amazon and is not one of our sponsors. And I found the Oxford Classical Dictionary, the one I'm holding in my hands.
Yeah.
Second edition.
Yep.
Guess how much?
$100.
You're going to be shocked. $10.
$10. That's
Used hardcover in very good condition.
somebody jump on that out there.
Somebody better jump on
Yeah.
that. So that's phenomenal. It's sad in one sense because the things that are of lasting importance, they're really not valued as they should be.
Indeed. Yeah. Now, Brill's new poly, I'm looking at the stats here. This does not seem like a bargain to me.
No.
You can get 1 day access
For 18.
for $18. Goodness. Or if you want it for a week, you can get that for $40.
Yeah.
And for a full month, you can at $99.
No, they've priced themselves out of the market, which was already incredibly small.
Right.
I would think.
I don't know what. I don't know what they're thinking here.
What about if you want the CHCL, the Cambridge History of Classical Lit? What's that going to
You
run
can buy ebooks, which as I understand, if you get an ebook, it's yours forever, right? This
Well,
is not a
until the
subscription.
battery dies,
Well, true.
or the dog sits on your screen or something.
Yeah, and depending which volume you're getting, it's going to run you between $130 and $185. So
Okay.
not cheap.
No, and l'année philologique.
Yeah, this one is really, if you want to use it, you've got to go through an institution.
Right.
You've got to have login access from your university. So this one, there too, it's a gold standard. It still is a really important resource. But if you're an independent scholar, just kind of looking to do some things on your own,
Right.
this is a very difficult one to track down.
Definitely. Now, here are some workarounds. Let's say you want to access some of these things. You can go to your local library here in the United States, and you can use the ILL feature. Some library in the system
Yes.
is going to have one of these volumes, not the 100 volumes of Linné. You're not going to get those shipped. But the OCD,
Yeah.
maybe, or some of this, you can request it from another library, and typically, thanks to the taxpayer, it will be mailed to your destination, and you
Yes.
can go pick it up.
Yep.
There are also possibilities at many universities to get visitor access.
True. Yes.
You can get a visitor access library card, and that would be a way to access some of these materials.
Right.
I still think your best bet is find a copy of Conte or the OCD at some used bookstore and just cherish that thing.
Absolutely. Or just do a search like you just did, and you found that one for $10.
Right.
You search for the same for Conte. See what's out there.
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's these books are worth having on your shelf.
Absolutely. So now the listener might be saying, okay, so you've described the landscape, you've talked about some value in the different volumes, you've talked about the cost. How am I supposed to use it?
Yeah. I mean, I use it as, and recommend to my students to use it as just a springboard.
Right.
If you want just kind of the basic information about your topic, and if you're looking for where do I look in terms of ancient sources on this topic, it's all there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So when I was in graduate school and I was taking Greek prose composition with Erling Jack Holtzmark,
Yeah.
which the listener might know from such episodes as Tarzan and Tradition,
Yes,
parts
that's right.
1 and 2.
Of course.
Jack said to the class, and our jaws dropped, he said, if you really want to learn Greek, what you should do is you should read Smythe's Greek grammar a little bit every day. He was dead serious.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. There are more than 3,000 sections. I think I made it to maybe section 200 in my continuous reading.
Yeah.
I have since read the whole of it, but more in a research-oriented rather than a straight-through kind of way.
Right.
But there's a lot to be said for that daily, slow discipline of just a little bit. So if you want to read through the Oxford Classical Dictionary, set yourself a reasonable and decent goal. I'm going to read the thing 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I'm going to read one little article, half a page, take a couple notes, think about it, and you will eventually require, well, frankly, an encyclopedic knowledge of the classics.
Indeed.
There's no substitute for it.
I think that's great advice. Yeah.
And as we look to wrapping up, Jeff, let's dip into the actual text and find some interesting or quirky things.
Yes.
I understand you have some greatest hits for us.
I do. One of these things that I found, well, one of the things I'd say about the OCD too is that it is, if you read enough of it, it will strike you, this is very British.
Oh, yeah?
It's very dry.
So how did you get access? Is it through your institution?
Yes, through my institution.
Okay.
I have online access, which is fantastic. But in one of these, this is from the latest edition, some of these expanded topics, there is an entry on gestures, on ancient gestures.
Okay, tell us more.
And it's actually a fairly long entry, so I just picked out a part. So Plautus's Demopho complains of those who leer, nod, wink, or whistle at pretty women. Virgil emphasizes spontaneous gestures of confusion and despair, such as blushing and sobbing. He teases readers with gestures withheld, a proffered hand, not reciprocated or extended. Ovid prefers gestures of etiquette, conscious manipulation, and this was my favorite phrasing, or coercive bodily rhetoric.
Coercive bodily rhetoric?
I'm not exactly sure what that would be.
Get over here. Get over here.
Right.
You kind of just move your shoulder or something? Or
Literature, art, rhetorical handbooks, and theatrical descriptions of pantomime. I mean, I find this... I'm not ready to go out and write a book on ancient gestures, but this is fascinating.
It is fascinating.
And for each of those, there is a direct link to the ancient source, which
you mean a hyperlink?
A hyperlink.
When you're accessing it online.
So I mean, one of the things that that a lot of students they know about, like the gladiatorial games, about the thumbs up versus the thumbs down.
Right.
And that's a very controversial one. What exactly are we doing with the thumbs? This would be kind of the place to go
to start, for sure.
And you can kind of find out the different hand gestures that ancients made. I think that's fascinating.
Fascinating. So I'm looking at the very first entry in my second edition, which is the Hammond and Scullard. And the very first entry, alphabetical, is abacus.
Abacus.
A counting board, the usual aid to reckoning in antiquity. The Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans alike used a board with vertical columns on which, working from right to left, units, tens, hundreds, or where money was in question, e.g. an eighth of an oble, a quarter of an oble, a half of an oble, a drachmae, sums of 10, 100, 1,000 drachmae, and talents were inscribed. When an addition sum was done, the totals of the columns were carried to the left. You still with us? As in our ordinary addition, the numbers might be marked in writing or by pebbles, counters, or pegs. Abacus, that's the first entry.
Yeah. That's great.
Now, it has texture. It has reference. It has a citation as to who wrote it. And it's right here now, emblazoned in my memory, in a way that I don't think it would be had I just looked it up on Wikipedia or AI.
Exactly.
Though those can often be reliable.
They can, right. So as I always tell my students when it comes down to doing projects is that, you use Wikipedia.
Right.
A good Wikipedia page will have at the bottom a useful bibliography, but don't use it as your quotable source.
Right. Or as your final source. It's a starting point.
It's a starting point, exactly.
You have another one for us?
Yeah. There's another entry on ancient pets. I thought this was really interesting, which goes like this. The commonest pet was the small, white, long-coated Maltese dog.
What?
Represented on 5th century BC Attic vases and gravestones.
So this is from Malta, the Maltese dog.
Yes.
They were exporting white-coated dogs.
Yes. In Aristotle, it is used as a comparative standard of size for the marten. Athenaeus says that this dog was especially popular amongst the Sybarites, accompanying its owner even to the gymnasia. So this is all in a few lines.
I went to the gym yesterday.
Did you bring your
Maltese?
Maltese?
I did not take my Maltese dog along with me.
Right. Then it says on...
it would have been useful, though, I have to say.
Really?
Well, when someone reached for the dumbbell that I wanted... I don't use dumbbells, by the way.
Yeah.
I could have sicked my dog on him.
Exactly. Or at least kind of a menacing growl.
That's correct.
Exactly. And so a lot of this information comes from tombstones.
Okay.
Where people would kind of be remembered via... their favorite pet. Epitaphs show the affection felt for pet dogs by their owners, and then you get, again, a quote which links you to a number of different inscriptions. It's incredible.
Here I am on page 1047. 1047 of the second edition. Tessera.
Yeah.
A ticket or a token used in Rome, as in all ages, for a great variety of purposes, and represented by small pieces, often circular, of lead, bronze, terracotta, bone, etc. The tesserae nummulardrii, formerly known erroneously as tesserae gladiatorii, were tabs attached to bags of silver denarii to show that they had been tested for genuineness. The surviving examples belong to the last century of the Republic. Under the Empire, there were tesserae frumentarii for the receipts of free corn, tesserae for games and public shows, and tesserae given in largesse by the emperor and exchangeable for various presents. Many of these tesserae bear types, similar to those of coins, but less often legends and are often of lead. So, did you want to know about tesserae?
Not especially,
Not
but
so much.
But if you did,
Yeah.
this is the place to go.
So let's pretend you are a young student and you have never encountered the classical world, and you're reading a novel by Madeleine L'Engle called what is her most famous?
A Wrinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
And you encounter this line: "There is such a thing as a tesseract,"
Yes.
which is in that novel, and I might be describing something autobiographical here. A tesseract is a fourth dimension, right? Where did Ms. L'Engle come up with that? It's from the tessera, right?
Yes.
The Latin word, which means a four-sided thing, a four-sided object.
So this is a great book just to have on your bedside whenever you want to kind of just
I would say so.
to reach to double check to source something.
That's right.
Or
in the loo.
Or in the
as
loo.
I heard.
Exactly, right. Yeah.
You got another one for us?
Let's see. I think the two that I wanted to do were the gestures and the pets.
Okay.
But, how about you? Do you got any kind of
Well-
last parting shot here?
Well, there are so many. I'm just going to open a page at random here and find something interesting. This is page 831. Phyllis, Phylas, name of 4 minor mythological persons, the least unknown being a king of the Dryopes. He sinned against the shrine at Delphi, and consequently Heracles overthrew him and gave his people to Apollo as serfs. Many of them, either escaping or being sent by Apollo's command, went to the Peloponnesus, where they settled at Asane and other places. Heracles had, by Phyllis's daughter, a son Antiochus, after whom the Attic tribe Antiochus was named. And then we have our literary references, Diodorus Siculus and Pausanias.
Yeah.
So there are 4 Phyllises.
Yes.
And now we're told the whole story.
Exactly. And this is how you're going to keep those 4 Phyllises apart.
That's correct.
How else are you going to do it?
And the very last entry, I should mention, by the way, some of these entries are multiple pages. The one on Xenophon, the Athenian historian, for example, occupies 4.5 pages. The very last entry in the second edition is Zosimus.
Tell me about Zosimus.
So Zosimus was a Greek historian. Little is known of his life, except that he had been avocatus fisci, that is a financial official, and obtained the dignity of comes. His identification either with the sophist Zosimus of Ascalon or with the sophist Zosimus of Gaza is doubtful. So how many Zosimi are we up to now?
Not as many as Phyllises, right?
He wrote a history of the Roman Empire from Augustus down to AD 410. He must have completed it after AD 498, as he mentions the abolition of this particular Roman provision. So that's the very last entry. A minor character, Zosimus, but he also gets some billing in this comprehensive encyclopedia.
Everything from Abacus to Zosimus.
There you go.
Man, amazing.
Well, that's just about a wrap, Jeff,
Yeah.
on the encyclopedia. So do we have to get out of here?
Yeah, that noise you hear outside?
Yes, what is that?
Those are some representatives from Brill Publishing.
Oh, the folks from the Netherlands.
Yes.
What are they upset about?
They did not like us trashing their price structure.
Really?
For online access.
For their online access to the New Pauli?
Yeah.
Short-term access, $18 for 1 day?
Yeah.
$40 for 7 days?
Yeah.
$99 for 30 days?
That's crazy.
This doesn't even make any sense.
So they're if we don't get out of here, they're going to come here and frisbee some of those sharp-edged, overpriced books that they sell.
Beautiful volumes.
Very beautiful.
But you can't get one for under $300.
No, it's crazy.
So we better vacate the premises, let them have the vomitorium for whatever purposes they would like.
Exactly. But before we leave, Dave, help our listeners learn some Greek and Latin, will you?
Sure. So what you want to do, listener, is go to latinperdiem.com and check out my introductory courses in Greek and Latin. I have advanced courses in Latin, not in Greek yet. So Moss Method takes you from neophyte to...
Erudite.
That's correct. I have 4 modules, 163 lessons. Each one of these modules contains 40 lessons with 40 assignments, 6 quizzes, 2 exams, and of course, perhaps best of all, the weekly office hours.
Yes.
Just met this morning and read some Xenophon with some fine and interested students. I can say with all honesty, and I think modesty, it is the best program for learning ancient Greek, both Attic and New Testament, available online.
Yeah.
There may be better teachers. I'm not going to make that claim. But the combination of expertise and the price point, I think, is unmatched. So if you are perhaps like a homeschool mom, you are someone who is later in your career and you need more intellectual stimulation, you want to learn how to read Homer and Xenophon and Plato, or the Gospel of Luke, Paul's letter to the Ephesians, this is your chance. This is your starting point, your entry point. Let's say you went to seminary. You learned some Greek, but you don't have confidence. You really want to be able to handle the scriptures competently in Greek. This is your ticket. I'm absolutely convinced. So go there, check it out. Check out my Latin programs as well. And if you enter this coupon code 10PLUS, 10PLUS, you will get 10% off your entire order.
Fantastic. Hey, Dave, we got people to thank as well. Our wonderful engineer, Mishka,
Yes.
who turns this around so quickly.
Yeah, when I was down in Alabama,
Yeah.
I'll be brief because, I've been running a little long here. I was talking to a friend, and he said, Mishka's your sound engineer, but I thought she was like in person with you, moving the sliders and the buttons on the other side of the glass. I said, I could only wish.
Yeah.
No, she's remote.
Yep.
She's remote, but she does all of this and puts it together so wonderfully. Thank you, Mishka.
Yes. And then Jeff Sheets, that great guitarist who makes me want to give up playing because he's so good. What are the names of the tunes?
Thrill Seeker.
Thrill Seeker and Rush Hour.
The thrill of looking through the Oxford Classical Dictionary.
There we go.
And then Rush Hour,
Right.
which is rush out and patronize our sponsors.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Dave, if our listeners have a correction or a complaint, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they need to email Jeff at adnauseum.com. Don't forget the V if you want to make a quadrigendum or take a pot shot.
Right. But if you want to write to Dave, especially if you have a complaint, Dave at adnauseum.com. Again, don't forget that V.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. There's a little bit of outstanding correspondence. I'm going to get to all of it. Hopefully, Deo mihi fawente. You can also look up flexcalls.com.
That's right.
/David C. Noe, or set up your own page. Jeff, what is on tap for next week?
We're going to finally tackle some Plautus, which we have not done on the show yet. Right. So we're going to read his probably his most famous comedy.
Definitely.
The Braggart Soldier.
The Miles Gloriosus.
Yes. Can't wait.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's very, very
love
funny.
that one. That'll be a lot of fun. So you're going to want to tune in for episode 219 for Plautus.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, Jeff, you have our gustatory parting shot, which is going to take us out for the day.
Yes, this comes from the band ZZ Top, which
ZZ Top.
who really kind of made a name for themselves in the 1980s, especially with their kind of the very creative videos.
Oh yeah, and their famous song, "Every Girl's Crazy About a Carp-Dressed Man."
That's the one.
Okay.
That's right. This is a lesser known song.
Okay.
From 1983 called TV Dinners, and I'll just read a bit from the lyrics here. TV dinners, I'm feeling kind of rough. TV dinners, this one's kind of tough. I like the enchiladas and the teriyaki too. I even like the chicken if the sauce is not too blue.
That's a new low in the composition of lyrics.
Agreed.
Isn't it?
It is.
But they probably what's the guitarist's name? Emerson Biggins.
Something like that.
They probably know these aren't great lyrics.
Right. They had to fill out that album.
The beards and the chords.
Yeah.
Carries them through, right?
Indeed.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.